Good morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 31 of Tank Bangers. I'm your host, Joe Abadi. Tank Bangers is a web segment of Vintage Motocross Q&A. I am going to bring you today something that's a little difficult, one of the most difficult repairs you'll make on a gas tank. Before I do that, though, I do have to thank our sponsor of today's show, Full Circle Racing. Thank you, Tom McAllister, for being a sponsor of Vintage Motocross Q&A and for supporting this segment of Tank Bangers. The repair we're going to make today is over here in the vise. I'm going to show you where it is right now. And you can see it there. I have it circled where the damage is that we're going to be working on. But I can give you a little better example of it or explain to you why it might be difficult when we look at it from this angle right here. What we're talking about are dents along this section of the tank. Okay, along that edge, like right where you see that dent. Very difficult to get a tool either from the back or the front if you have a access hole in the front. It's very difficult to get something in there because it's right on the curb of the tank. You have to use heat almost every time. Maybe not quite it, but a lot. You're going to wind up using heat even to lift, more so on the tiny ones. I mean, the bigger ones, you could start to pry on them. If you have the tank very secure in the vise, you could pry a bit. But when it comes down to getting them from no dents or from a small dent to no dent, you're going to have a little bit of a battle ahead of you. Okay. So without any further ado, I'm going to switch cameras. We'll take a look at what's going on over here. I'm going to heat it up and we'll see how it turns out, because it's just as much a surprise for me as it is every day as it is for you. So don't forget, wherever you may be watching the show from, be sure to put in where you're watching or what you might like to see. Or if you have any questions and I see them today, I'd be happy to answer them. All right, let's get over here. And just as I explained to you in the video just a moment ago, they're right on the curb. Side is nice. The front is nice. I got a little something to contend with on the top here. We'll get to that in the future. Now, your magnet is going to be very, very important. Whatever tool you decide to put in there is going to be very, very important. This is my former rotisserie tool. I would love to have had this a little more stable. I mean, it's stable in the vise, but I've got some flex going this way. But I want to be able to show you how to do it. And well, this is kind of the best angle for this. All right. So I know I'm right here. I know my pry tool is right there. So let's get right to it. And as I'm heating it up, I'm going to try and work my way down to the rest of the dents as well. Warm up the whole side of the tank when you're doing this so the cool or cold aluminum does not draw the heat away from where you're going to be working. Now these are nicks inside of dents. So they got to be raised. So I'm looking at it from an angle here, which makes it a little easier for me. The light and the reflection really shows where the tool is. Ah, there we go. Really shows where the tool is on the dent or on the damage. Now this is a little risky when I just move on without doing it with the magnet because I don't know exactly where I am. And I wind up with maybe lifting a little spot where I don't really want to be. Found it. Looks like I'm right there. Whoop. A little low. Got this one, and just about got this one. It looks like I have a little low spot right up here, though. I may have to come back to that. In fact, I think I'm going to have to come back to this one too. I want to know with the magnet where I am here. I got a little spot here, and I've got a little spot up here. It's just a low spot. Is it a dent? Yeah, it's a dent. You can't really see it. It's very, very shallow. But for right now, I've got 1, 2, 3 that I'll be able to sand on a little bit after I cool them off. And we'll get a look at what's happening there. All right, who we got watching this morning so far? J.R. Glime. J.R. Glime, thank you for joining us this morning. Where are you watching from, J.R.? Want to tell us? No? Secret hiding spot? Okay. You've often heard me mention that you could do this with a compressor too. You could run the compressor, cool air, cools it off. Or some ice water in a spray bottle. Not, this isn't ice water, it's just, but yeah, ice water is good too. Helps a little bit. Or regular water, either way. A couple of seconds later, you could touch it. I mean, it's still kind of warm. I wouldn't rest my hand there, but now in these situations where you have gouges inside of small dents, you have to bring it higher than level. Otherwise, you're not going to get the gouge out. So it is a little additional work, but that's what you have to do in order to make it work. Don't forget, Vintage Motocross Q&A is on tonight at 6. We've got some great announcements coming up. We've got a new segment. We're going to have a new guest every week that's going to be answering your questions. And what else do we have? Oh, next time, try this. And what's it worth? We'll be giving away stickers and mag lights and posters and all the good stuff that we do every week. Vintage Motocross Q&A on Facebook and YouTube tonight at 6. Now, got a little pinhole or a little nick inside of that, inside of the high spot that was formerly a dent. And now I don't. Wow, turned out even better than I thought. It's got a little wave in there yet, but we're close. Got a little low spot. Can you see it in the camera? Yeah, you might be able to. I don't know. I'll move the camera in a second. And we'll get a look. Don Zabalski Sr., thanks for joining us this morning. And J.R. Glime, thanks for hanging in with us, guys. Got a little low spot right here that I didn't know anything about before we got started. And here is where I lifted up a bit. And here is where I lifted up a bit. They're a little high. I get that, but the gouges are out. And that's what's important. So let's shape that up a little bit. I'm using 180 right here. It's taken down the two high spots because I'm on a good firm rubber board. You don't want to use anything too flimsy here. You don't want to use anything flimsy at all. You either want to use your hand, which is okay, but you got this surface going this way and your hand. I'd rather use something like this. I would recommend you use something a little stiffer that you're going to cover. You're going to cover more of the area and take it down evenly. Okay, go around the circles a little bit, nice and lightly. I'm just controlling the sanding block. I'm not putting any pressure on it. I don't want to put pressure on it. I don't want to dig deeper into the aluminum than I have to. And I also just want the paper skimming, so to speak, over the area, and it will expose any low spots and take down any high spots, but not too aggressively. Crisscross is a great way to sand as well. Tells you a little bit more about what's happening underneath there. If I go a little finer now, because I'm using 180, which is good for shaping, you know, taking down your bigger high spots, taking out more aggressive gouges, but you're only shaping with it. You're not taking it down to more of a final finish. So I think that's about as far as I'm going to go with the 180. And from here, I mean, I can feel it. You can't see it, but we will start to expose some low spots that are left. And that's the whole purpose, and that's the whole way the sanding game works. Hopefully you could see that tank pretty good there. Maybe I should move the camera just a touch. Let me get on the other side of this camera. And I need to give myself a little room to work though, too. And I don't want to block. I don't want to block your view with my arm and my shoulder while I'm working on it. Okay. We were at 180. Always go down gradually when you're sanding. I'm going from 180 to 240. If you go down from 180 to say 320, you're going to see scratches. So always go down gradually. Again, I'm just controlling the sanding block. I'm not doing anything aggressive with it. I'm not pushing too hard on it. I want the paper and the block to do the work and naturally hit the high spots and naturally not hit the low spots, so we know where they are. Not bad. All right. Got a little bit of something in there yet. I'm going to cut it back one more. See what it looks like after 320. I'm feeling something in here. I think I'm high right here. I think there was a dent on the side of this tank. Well, I know there was a dent on the side, and sometimes when it pushes from the side, it creates a high spot on the top. Not only the dent, that's the imminent or obvious damage. There are things around it that happen too. Metal moves. Not only when the dent's pushed in, or depending on the angle, it can create different types of damage, and you don't see it until you get to this point, really, or you don't feel it till you get to this point. I'm going to use. I'm going to go like this for a second because it's the perfect contour of the way this tank is, of the way my hand is, and with the paper flat in my hand. All right, that was 320. Now, we're going to go with 400 on a little bit of a longer board. Excuse me 1 second while I get a little drink here. Okay. And let's see. 400. And I want to make the paper about as long as the area because I want to hit as much of it at once as I can. Will somebody remind me to order more 400 today? Send me an email. I need 400 grit sandpaper. Okay, here we go. Lightly. All right, back here where I thought I had a high spot, it's a tiny little shallow low spot right here. Can you see that on the camera? Where is it? Right here. Yeah, you can see it. It's right about there. And I thought it was a high spot back here. The sanding will reveal where the damage is when it gets to this point. So I'm going to get back down in there. I might even be able to get this out. I know I can get this out from the hole. But right now, let's go back to where we were kind of at the start. Well, we weren't really there at the start. We were up here, but that's a long way down. And I have another access hole over here, but I think with heat, maybe I don't even need to heat it up. I mean, it is shallow. You know what? Let me try something a little more rigid. Let me try this guy. It's a lot more rigid. It's longer. But will it give me the accuracy? Where are you? Where are you? Hello. Okay. See, I can't get that low. When I was talking about, I've got the leverage and it's rigid, but I can't get it as low as I need it to be. See where the magnet is? That's where the head of that is. Because it's a little bit thicker, unlike this guy, which is thinner, but flexes a bit when I get it down there. But, oh man, I almost hate to heat it up. Maybe I can move the metal a little bit without heating it up. Maybe. Ba, 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 ba. I think it's time we go to the golden rule. The golden ruler, actually. This helps us with minuscule low spots, minor waves in a tank. And that's what we have right here. So, I do like to do it with the longboard over the ruler. I don't know if I can. I've been doing that the past couple of days. So both my hands cover the majority of the ruler, which is what you want if you're going to do this. You want to cover as much of the ruler as possible, even pressure. What I mean is I was doing this. I don't know if I could do it here right now. I've been putting this on there, and it gives me a nice, it's easier on my palms of my hand when it's not on top, right directly on top of the paper. This board puts the pressure on the ruler more evenly, and it flexes. It flexes with the ruler, it flexes with the board. It goes in perfect curve of the tank. Oh, that is nice, guys. This ridge or this bend in the tank right here, where I had a bunch of little circles up here, and I had some things down here that were just about invisible till you sanded them. Well, they were all out. Yeah, I've got some things in the center here, and let's just see. Let's see if I could expose this right here. A little, oh boy, a little something right here. I'm going to put a circle around it. I mean, I could see it from here, but I want you to be able to see it, or you to be able to see where I'm working. Well, I know you can see it. I know you can see the circle. So got my little hyperlapse guy going here. Okay. No comments this morning, huh? Nobody's got anything to say. Okay. You know, while I'm here and I could use a little bit of a break, I'd like to mention two guys that do a lot for the sport. Number one is George Ackerman. He's got an event coming up October 25th. It's open house and it's free from 10 to 4. That happens on County Line Church Road in Ruther Glen, Virginia. Come celebrate the 5th annual Moto Barn fall event. Got special guest speakers. I've been down there before. He's had Barry Higgins, Steve Wise, Warren Reed, Martina Faltova-Cope. Some of the really, really good local enduro riders show up for this as well. Beautiful bike show outside, and George has got the mini barn happening now too. Always giving back to the sport. George Ackerman, thanks for all you do. And Gordon McCaffer, I am celebrating 25 years. 25 years of what, you may say? 25 years of having two McCaffer work stands that I'm still using. Never failed me, not once. They're solid as the day you built them for me. The powder coating is beautiful. I love the angles of the handle, everything about it. Get a hold of Gordon McCaffer. He is a certified welder in the greater Syracuse area. There's his number at the bottom of the page. Sounding more like a radio announcer every day. Thank you for joining me. Okay. Let me put the camera back where it was and figure out what's happening here with this little bitty baby low spot. You know, this is a little closer. I might be able to get this guy in there this time. I don't know. No, I don't think so. Not really close enough. I'm high up here. I need to be a little bit lower. No, that's too far away. Possible. All right, that basically puts me right on it. But it's a piece of rebar. And by the time I get this point to here, I don't have very much to pry on. So I really don't have the leverage. This is when I put a pair of vice grips on it. Helps quite a bit. Something like that. Where am I? All right. 320 is what I'd like to use. That's 240. And when you hear me talk like this to myself, 240, 320, what should I do now? That goes on all day here. It doesn't only happen when that camera's rolling. I'm in here talking to myself all day like that. All right, now you can see a little better. Anything that was near the circle is now just about gone. I've got two little dimples right here. I didn't have to heat it up. I didn't have to go too crazy doing much. It would have been even easier if I had this cinched down with my ratchet strap, but it's a little inconvenient for me, but you get a better view of what's going on. Well, that's just what has to be done. You know, it's a bike you don't see very much or see very often is a 125 Mako, either the square barrel or the radial, the 70, I guess the 77, 78, 79 radial. But you don't see a 125 Mako too often. We're going to have one on Vintage Motocross Q&A tonight. Paul Griffin sent it in. Has an incredible collection of Makos down there in the Santa Cruz area. And we're fortunate enough to have another one of Paul's bikes on the show tonight. So if Makos are your thing, and especially the 125, tune in at 6. All right, we got this guy out. We've got this edge straight. I've got a low spot in the middle down here. I've got a low spot, serious low spot. Not a low spot. It's a dent with a gouge in it. Over here, I think I'm going to have to drill holes in the tunnel to get those out. I will do that. I don't know if I'm going to do that today, though. In the meantime, I mean, we're here and we've got some time left. So I might as well continue to work on this area and bring it into where it should be with the rest of the tank. And fellas, don't get discouraged when, you know, you get it all nice and smooth and you got all the dents out over here and everything's feeling great. And then you wind up with something like this over here. This was visible. I knew it was there. But it could be like it was down here too, where it's just a little, you go after it again. All it's going to cost you is time and sandpaper. That's all it's going to cost you. Always keep your paper clean. Clogged paper is useless. Got a Falta 400 on the show tonight, too, in the What's It Worth segment. Told you about the 125 Mako in the Moto Showcase. What else? Jeff Kokoski segment, big hit on the show. Did you know? And Jeff brings in some really interesting topics that are always motorcycle related, but aren't necessarily about the bike itself. Tonight we've got one on vernier calipers. Jeff's had some really, really interesting stories over the past year and a half at least. Great pictures. He's had things on Bel-Ray oil and AMSOIL and how they got started and oil viscosity and so many more things. Big contributor to the show, Jeff Kokoski. Roger Ness, Brap Suspension. Check him out on Instagram. He contributes to the show too when he can. He's a busy guy. He's got a busy shop. But he manages to squeeze in a video here or there. Sends it into us. Robert Oscar Pomeroy, Roy Vanderveur. In fact, I have a really good video from Roy tonight. At first, when I watched it, I said, all right, this is kind of entertaining, maybe even a little funny. And, well, it is funny, but it's also very, very helpful. And he just put a nice little twist on it that makes it funny. But it's actually a really good tip for your shop. You know how straight it is? As straight as John Wayne. That's right. not going to go too nuts over here. Could you see that crack up front? I don't know if you could see that. Let me move that camera for a second. I bet you could see it. There's a crack right through here. So I'm not going to go too nuts shaping anymore or sanding too much there, because when Daryl Dickerson of Current Fabrication welds that up for me, I'm going to smooth it back down. That'd be a good little episode too. Next week, I'll show you how I take that big bead of weld that he has to put there in order to seal that up, and how we put it back into shape. So, as I said, I'm not going to go too crazy through this section. But I am going to go put a little tape across here and sand that down, blend it into the side of the tank. Got a couple minutes yet. AMSOIL brake and parts cleaner. Removes all the glue, all the gas, anything that's on the tank. Naturally, we don't have any glue or gas at this point. But I got plenty of aluminum dust, that's for sure. And I mean, you always want the tank clean. Of course, when you're about to paint and stuff like that. But I want it clean when I'm about to put tape on it, so the tape really sticks. Okay. A little housekeeping. Garbage can. I had one at one time. Here it is. I'm having a little bit of a pinstriping tape situation here too, guys. Will somebody remind me to order pinstriping tape and 400 grit paper? I do this so I don't get my sanding and finished area over here. I don't risk running across it with sandpaper as I'm going this way. And that's part of the reason why, well, it's the whole reason why I put tape across like that. And of course it gives me that line. And I think the next time I order pinstriping tape, it's going to be masking tape, actually, not pinstriping tape, because I like when it kind of breaks away when I'm sanding. It wasn't a perfect crisp line on an Elsinore tank from the horizontal stripes to the vertical stripes. It was broken. Broken in the sense of it wasn't even. This works out okay. I got to put a little more effort into it, but it works out okay. Anyway. This was already taken all the way down to 400, but with the scratches and what's going on here, I'm going to start with 180 again and work my way down. I might be able to do it with 240. Hopefully 240 will take out those scratches. And while you're doing this, go all the way to the back, go all the way to the front. Don't stop in the middle. Stop in the middle, you're going to get uneven brush marks. Also, when you slow down and your hand has pressure on it, it starts to dig a little deeper, it leaves a mark. I also try and keep the paper rectangular. Rip it off a little longer. Don't fold it in half in a sense of, here, don't fold it like this and come up with a square thing to sand. Rip it off a little longer, fold it in half to give yourself a piece like this. Better in your hand, covers more of the material, gives it a more even finish. .240. Here, as far as talking about a minute ago. Tear it off a little bit longer. Don't fold it this way, so you'll wind up with a square. Fold it this way. This is actually a little bit longer than it actually should be, but that's okay. Also, you want to keep your lines, the brush finish that you're cutting in, parallel with the line of the bottom of the tank. I also like to start off with the folded end going that way. And go over the tape, over the tape. Work slowly going that way. Don't cut across too aggressively. Move your paper either way when you get to the end, not in the middle. It's a gradual thing. I got a little mark over here, nothing serious. One over, I wouldn't call that a mark, but this is a little gouge type thing going on there. Nothing serious. I mean, it's not on the edge. I can get this when I get this. All right. I'm going to go over it one more time with a little 400. And I think that's going to wrap it up for today. episode 31 of Tank Bangers. Nice. Just going to do this to dress it up a little bit. Even up the finish. We've got more to go. Once I get it back from Daryl. But for right now, and that's another thing, fellas. When you get down to this 400 like this, be careful if you're going to chase something with any kind of paper or any kind of Scotch-Brite pad, even your fingernail. This stuff will scratch very easily when you're down that fine. 180, 240, no biggie. You get down to 400, it'll scratch easily. All right. Let's just give it a once over with some brake clean. Get the glue off. And I generally bring it over to the other computer, and I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think I'll do that right now. Let's bring this camera down here. Pick it up a little bit. Back up a little bit. Back down to 1. Come in a little bit. All right, guys, here it is. I'm always looking for the best way to show you, but that whole curve up there, it was uneven, had some gouges, and oh yeah, I went over the whole side again too, which looks pretty damn good if I do say so myself. All right. I got my other camera up there, the hyperlapse camera. So I always like to hold it up there at the end. Takes a couple of seconds. Takes like 10 seconds for the thing to go a second. Anyway, enough about that. That wraps it up for today's Tank Bangers, episode 31. Thank you again for joining me today. The show, of course, was brought to you by Full Circle Racing Limited. Be sure to visit Tom McAllister online. Full Circle Racing. Tom does a lot for vintage racing throughout the Northwest, throughout the country, and he's certainly been our longest running sponsor. Thank you, Tom McAllister. Be sure to show up for Vintage Motocross Q&A tonight at 6. A lot of cool stuff on the show. Mike Moto Goose, Lenny Roberts, Don Zabalski Sr., and of course, J.R. Gleim. Thank all you guys for joining me this morning. I'll be back at 6. Don't forget, next time to try this happens at noon, and there's stuff being posted all day long. Videos, commercials, pictures of bikes I've restored all day long. There's something happen at Vintage Motocross Q&A. At Vintage Motocross Q&A. That's it for today's Tank Bangers. I'll see you tonight at 6.